All right, welcome everyone. Today, we're unlocking a totally fascinating piece of legislation that quietly governs millions of vacations every single year, the Thai Hotel Act of 2004. In this explainer, we're going to dive right into the real, heavily bureaucratic playbook of what it legally takes to operate a hotel in Thailand. We're going straight to the source material to reveal the strict rules, the intense requirements, and honestly, the surprising responsibilities hidden right behind those beautiful, pristine resort lobbies. Let's get into it.
Think about it. When you step off a plane in Bangkok or Phuket, you're usually thinking about the amazing beaches, world-class street food, and just top-tier luxury service. But have you ever stopped and wondered what it actually legally takes to run that hotel you're staying in? Because beyond the fancy welcome drinks and those perfectly folded towel animals, there lies a strict, highly specific legal framework. It's this massive, intricate system that every single guest experiences, yet almost no one ever sees. Well, today we're pulling back the curtain and bringing that hidden legal world right into plain view.
Okay, let's dive right into this roadmap and break down this complex 24-page law. We'll hit 5 key areas. First, defining a Thai hotel. Second, getting the golden license. Third, the mighty hotel manager. Fourth, lodger registration rules. And finally, losing your license.
All right, starting off with part 1, defining a Thai hotel. What actually counts? So before the government can regulate a business, they obviously have to define it first, right? Under Section 4 of the Act, a hotel is officially defined as an accommodation established for business purposes that provides temporary accommodation services for travelers, or anyone else really, in exchange for compensation. So, at its core, the law targets temporary stays that you pay for. Sounds pretty straightforward enough, right?
But here's where it gets super interesting. Look at the exceptions. You see, if an accommodation is rented out on a strictly monthly basis, or longer, it completely bypasses this specific Hotel Act. The exact same goes for accommodations run by government agencies, state enterprises, or places set up for charity or educational purposes, as long as they aren't, splitting profits. This distinction is absolutely massive, because the second you fall under that official hotel category, it triggers an absolute mountain of rigorous legal obligations.
Moving on to part 2, getting the golden license and the major hurdles operators face. Okay, so if your business actually fits that strict hotel definition, you have to become a legally recognized operator. And to even apply for this golden license, you've got to clear the intense hurdles mapped out in Section 16. First off, the operator must be over 20 years old, domiciled in Thailand, and financially sound, which basically just means not legally bankrupt. But listen to this, the law is absolutely uncompromising when it comes to criminal history. There is a strict, no exceptions prohibition against granting a license to anyone who has been sentenced for serious offenses. We're talking human trafficking, narcotics, or prostitution. The Thai government requires a totally clean, trustworthy background to even step foot in their hospitality sector as an owner.
Now, say you actually managed to secure that license. Well, you were given exactly 5 years. That's it. According to Section 19, the license is valid for 5 years from the date of issue. And when it comes time to renew, operators have to be totally on top of their game. You absolutely must apply before it expires. If you slip up, sure, there is a 60-day grace period. But utilizing that grace period comes with a real sting, a 20% penalty fine slapped right on top of the renewal fee. And if you somehow miss that 60-day window entirely, wow, you are starting completely from scratch as a brand new applicant.
It gets wilder, because the law even dictates what you can actually name your establishment. Under Section 20, your hotel must feature Thai alphabets prominently, though, yeah, foreign letters can accompany them. The naming rules are incredibly strict. For instance, no names can resemble or even mimic the royal family, which is a deeply, deeply respected institution in Thailand. You also can't just copy another licensed hotel's name to steal their thunder, unless they actually give you written consent. And quite explicitly, your hotel's name cannot contain any vulgar words or meanings. So basically, no legally sanctioned profanity on your giant neon signs.
That brings us to part 3, the mighty hotel manager, the one really bearing the burden.
Now, the operator might own the business, but under this act, the quote-unquote manager is the central figure who really bears the day-to-day legal weight. Section 33 lays out their qualifications, and honestly, they go way beyond just having a solid resume. Sure, you must be over 20, and you must hold recognized certifications or experience in hotel administration, but the law also places some incredibly strict health and lifestyle mandates on this specific role. A manager legally cannot suffer from chronic alcoholism, cannot be addicted to narcotic drugs, and must be completely free from specific contagious diseases. The government essentially demands that the person at the helm is fully capable,
healthy, and totally clear-headed at all times. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly why the manager has to be so capable. We see this sprawling, intense list of joint duties for the operator and the manager in Section 34. It's not just about, smiling and welcoming guests, it's about life safety and rigorous compliance. They are legally mandated to post fire escape plans in every single room and on every single floor. They must maintain strict sanitary conditions that fully adhere to public health laws. They're literally responsible for the structural security of the entire building and all the fire prevention systems. It is just an immense, continuous burden of care on their shoulders.
All right, let's move into Part 4, Lodger Registration Rules. Basically, the guest experience explained.
So for anyone who's ever traveled to Thailand, you definitely know the drill at the front desk. You hand over your passport, you sign a little card, and you wait. Well, under Section 35 and 36, that isn't just some quirky old-school hotel policy. It is a full-blown bureaucratic marathon with seriously tight deadlines. Guest info must be recorded immediately upon check-in, and the guest actually has to sign the card. Interestingly enough, if a guest is under 18 and checking in alone, the manager must legally countersign for them. Then, this record must be finalized in the master registration within exactly 24 hours, and they have to physically retain these records, ready for a surprise inspection, for at least a full year. But wait, it doesn't even stop there. The manager actually has to submit copies of the daily lodger registration to the government registrar every single week.
You might be wondering why all this intense tracking. Well, this rather dramatic quote from Section 38 explains it perfectly. The manager essentially acts as a frontline defense for public order. They have a strict legal duty to, quote, take care not to let anyone hides or conspires in the boundary of the hotel to commit a crime. If they even so much as suspect a conspiracy or criminal activity is brewing in one of their rooms, they are legally bound to immediately inform the local police or administrative officials. They are literally the eyes and ears of the law.
And to actually empower the manager in this frontline role, Section 39 grants them the immense power to just flat-out refuse a guest. They aren't forced to take everyone's money. A manager can legally deny you a room if they suspect you're there to commit a crime or cause public disorder. They can refuse you if they simply have reasonable grounds to believe you can't afford the accommodation fee. And, crucially, they can turn you away right at the desk if they believe you're suffering from a dangerous, contagious disease.
Now for our final part, Part 5, Losing Your License, the Path to Ruin.
Let's move to the consequences and see how this builds. What actually happens when these strict rules are broken? Section 40 outlines a very clear, escalating timeline of legal trouble. It starts off with an official warning from the registrar to cease or rectify a violation. The operator is then given a rectification period of up to 30 days to fix whatever the issue is. Now, if they ignore the warning, the registrar can order a suspension of the license for up to 15 days at a time. And during a suspension, the hotel absolutely cannot operate, period. If the violations just keep continuing after the suspensions and the warnings, the ultimate penalty is triggered: total revocation of the license. But here is the absolutely crucial point. While there is a warning system for, say, administrative slip-ups, there is zero tolerance for severe criminal activity. Under Section 41, if a hotel is used for or allows sexual offenses, narcotic drug violations, or human trafficking, there are no 30-day warnings, there are no 15-day suspensions, the license of the operator and the legal notification of the manager are instantly revoked. The business is immediately shut down, no questions asked.
So, we've seen the strict definitions, the rigorous background checks, the frankly sprawling daily duties of the manager, the intense lodger tracking, and the absolutely severe consequences for failure. It paints a picture of a highly regulated, tightly controlled industry operating right beneath our noses while we're just relaxing by the pool. Knowing this massive, hidden bureaucratic iceberg and the immense legal pressures of the 2004 Act, I have to leave you with this question. Do you think you have what it takes to run a hotel in the land of smiles? Thank you so much for learning with us today on this explainer, and we will catch you next time as we continue to unpack the fascinating rules that quietly govern our world.